really, really badass in a way. Well, in a way that female superheroes haven't been portrayed.
Right.
Female superheroes aren't, in general, portrayed as super badass, being able to fight their own battles, kicking ass, taking names, that kind of stuff. Because a lot of female superheroes do what is considered background work.
Yes.
They are supporting characters, supporting roles, and they do things that help the main characters, the protagonists, to do big, scary, amazing things, but they don't get in on any of the action. And it starts to make people think that they're not capable. So it really has messed up the portrayal of female characters for a really long time.
What do you think of the whole Amazonian battle sequence?
I love it. Amazons in general, even in the Greek myth, are just amazing. They're wonderful to read about. They're very, they're easy to tell a story about because they're an interesting culture and they're so different from what we already see that it really opens things up for all of those things, and the choreography just looks amazing.
What did you think of just the look of the entire trailer?
It looked really good. It's a timed piece, so and able to have a timed piece and also bring because the costume is new style, it's a newer. It's not an old fashioned because they're trying to update them. So it looks really good, and I'm curious throughout the whole movie how it looks. Because it looked really good in the trailer.
Well, I have to say, I was impressed with. Well, this is going to be a costume period piece anyway. Everything that you're going to see in there has to be accurate to that particular time period, and I'm fascinated by the entire look of the movie. What are you really hoping that this film is able to accomplish?
Josiah. I think I actually just watched this before I headed over here because I knew you were gonna. I was like, dang it! I got on IMDb. I saw it was posted. I was like, I gotta watch that before I go.
And folks, please welcome filmmaker, buddy of mine, kind of an actor. He's Josiah. He's a filmmaker from
kind of
Into the Dark Abyss
Thank you.
Productions. Welcome back to the show, buddy.
Thanks
Favorite
very much.
show ever. So, and I was really wanting to know what you were going to say about.
Okay, so I think that Wonder Woman is DC's Thor, basically. We're in this situation where they've got, 2 movies under their belt. Neither of them have really, 100% landed. They're kind of doing all right. They're kind of doing it. And they're not in, I don't think they're in danger necessarily, but they definitely need to get, some solid hits under their belt, or else they're just never going to stand up to Marvel. And I think that Wonder Woman is their Thor, where it's this offshoot character where you've got, your diehard DC fans that love her, you've got all the, the nerd fantasyism of all of the guys that love her, and you've got the strong, what Lexi was saying about her. But nobody knows who she is that doesn't read comic books or watch animation, because she's not in any of the live action anything, and most of the animation, the mainstream ones, the ones that get watched by people that aren't hardcore fans, she's not in those either. So really, I think that they have a really interesting opportunity here. And one thing that I noted was that the look, like you were talking about, was still really grim and gruesome, kind of like the Man of Steel stuff that we've seen. But then they managed to throw in Chris Pine giving 3 or 4 one-liners in this minute and a half trailer. They're trying to make people think, oh, this is going to be more levity, this is going to be a little bit more fun. And I think that they're probably lying. That's one thing I think. I just don't think that the movie's going to have the levity that they're trying to portray. But we'll see. It is Chris Pine.
Well, I think with Chris, period. He's going to bring just a little bit
of that
to it. So if you don't put it in, it's just going to feel awkward with having him in there. So just putting that in is mending everything together, just as an actor being put in there,
especially being arm candy. And probably being reduced to the line of
a lot of one-liners. Great arm candy. He's a very pretty man.
I do.
So would I.
So, Larry,
I'm not doing Chris Pine.
After watching the trailer, were you disappointed that Haley Atwell wasn't in the trailer?
No.
Are you still wandering around the continent area looking for her?
It's a different war.
It's a different war. It's a different.
Well, let me at least ask this then. In going from Wonder Woman to the Justice League trailer, what did you think?
Wow. The Justice League trailer just looks amazing, and not just because it's got Jason Momoa dripping wet and shirtless. But that is also a great reason. Story-wise and comedy-wise, though, it looks just amazing. The one-liners that they've written for this trailer are just hilarious.
I think a lot of them are going to belong to Ezra Miller's Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Dude, Ezra Miller's going to be amazing.
And before we go too much
So much
farther, and
sarcasm.
because one of our co-hosts, Tony Globus, is not here in honor of her, please say that man's name again for her real quick.
Jason Momoa?
There we go. Now we've done it. We've said it as many times as she said it in one show.
Yeah.
in VisionCon last.
Well, just check him out on Instagram. If you love Jason,
Oh, yeah.
he's all over
Check him
Instagram.
out.
I think the trailer there actually gave me a lot more hope that they can actually do a good Flash movie, except for his costume. I'm not a huge fan of the Flash costume. In that
Me
one.
either,
It's just
yeah.
not
The
a.
costumes in it, some of them looked very...
I agree. I'm a little, but then again, I'm still at odds with the costume on the series.
I think
I think the costume from the '90s series is the closest one they've had to the comic book, and I understand the reason why they didn't do it. I'm just saying, look-wise,
Well, I think that they really set up in the trailer there. It really feels like Barry there is kind of like Spider-Man.
Yes.
Civil War. And
That's true.
And he, it doesn't need to be this full-on it's almost like a suit of mech armor.
That's what I got from that,
Yeah.
actually.
I think that if there's one thing we've seen is that they all have different variations. Like at this point, I don't think that they're going to go any sort of like this is their established costume too far with like the mech suits. I think everybody's going to have those different versions that they can use to go into heavy battle or like into space or whatever, because we're being introduced to a lot of these characters down the road.
But I just see Barry Allen because the way they showed his setup in there, it's just like very it's a poor man's Batcave essentially.
That's actually really accurate.
and that he very
Satellite case. Satellite.
But then Barry made a full on Iron Man suit out of it. It's just kind of like, come on, give me a little bit more, make it a little bit rougher, a little bit, less robot
My-
suit, a little bit more.
Surprisingly quiet.
Yeah.
Like, my real question would be why a character that moves so fast, obviously, and does not get hit. I mean, we see Bruce Wayne throw the battering at him, and it doesn't hit him.
Yes.
He moves out of the way of it. So I
Can I
don't know
keep
why
this?
a character who moves so
Yes.
fast would need full plate mech armor.
because of those particular times, probably when you don't. I mean, you can't get everything all the time. Mistakes happen.
Yeah, he-
You know,
And he's young, so.
Yeah.
Just
Doing
too worried about
justice.
what
And we have to
people-
remember.
He still gets hit. He's not invulnerable. by
I
any
know
means.
he's not.
Well, and here's the other thing: Ezra Miller
I'm
is being
aware.
portrayed in there as being, the nerd.
Yeah.
What nerd doesn't want a gadget, and what nerd doesn't want a suit that's an entire gadget in itself?
I
So-
don't want that to be a point, though. Just like, you really don't need that much
Am I the
armor.
only one that sees
But it looks
Brandon
cool.
was playing that role?
well, but here's the other thing: if you ever pass out for whatever reason while you're knocked out, anybody can come along and shoot you.
That's
So,
true.
Jason, I noticed that you've been suspiciously quiet for the last few minutes of this segment we're talking about.
Well,
Both
he's
Wonder
been
Woman
eating
and
food.
Justice League.
Where's Superman?
Gone. Where
He's
he
dead.
Dead. He's
Spoilers.
If you haven't seen Batman vs. Superman, you can answer
He's
that question
where he
for Jason.
belongs.
If you haven't seen the director's cut, I mean the ultimate cut.
I'm just saying, he's in it,
Yes.
but they haven't shown him yet.
That's a good thing in my mind.
Let me just
you.
let me just put this way. You
Cute.
know that Instagram account for Jason Momoa?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. One of the pictures that I posted was him at a bar with two of his cast
Yep.
members. Yeah, and one of them was Henry. So Henry's there.
I just don't know why he's not in the.
He's very pretty,
couldn't
but
take
that's
time to
just not
make.
enough for me.
He's going to show up on the
I
island
just
at
I
the end of the movie where Cyborg hands him the lightsaber. Oh, sorry, wrong movie. sorry.
Actually, and we've already mentioned this once with Flash's costumes. I want to ask the panel this: what did everybody think of Cyborg's costume?
Batman?
I kind of like, just from like looking at it the one time we watched it, he looks too small almost.
Batman?
No.
Oh,
No, I'm glad that he's.
And Keith,
I'm glad he's
and
a
that actually-
stone.
It brings up another question because twice now I've seen him Cyborg being created with the help of
the Mother Box.
the Mother Box.
Yeah.
Is that accurate from the comics?
It is from Justice League #1 the last time that they did that. And then they did and then they also made the animated version known as Justice League War that you can see on Netflix right now. And I keep telling everybody, before you saw Batman versus Superman, you should have watched the Justice League War and also Throne of Atlantis to understand where they were going, because they were pulling in influences from not just the comics, not just the video games, but also from various other versions of the. I mean, again, the direction they're headed with these characters, I think, makes more sense given the media that's been put out there over the last 15 years. Yep. So if you've seen anything connected to DC and these characters over the last 15 years in comic form, on television, in animation, that's really where they're pulling all of this from. So the fighting styles, the whole 9 yards.
I feel like they have a different, it just looks like they have a different costume designer from like the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a different one, but it just, the look is so vastly different from Wonder Woman's armor, which is slightly impractical, but she's Wonder Woman, so that's how it looks. Yeah. But it is, the fabric, the way that it moves, it looks like armor. It's movable. She can fight in it.
Worn an impractical outfit to go do something.
Well, that was just unnecessary. The people on the podcast don't know that. The armor in the trailer looks impractical. It just doesn't look like it would move like armor should.
It's supposed to be the same thing. It's just
in high heels.
I changed it to flat shoes.
Well, the armor that you see in the trailer for Wonder Woman is actually supposed to be the same armor she wears in Batman vs. Superman, except it's
been
newer.
Recolorized.
It's newer. It's meant to be newer. And so being over 100 years old, it's faded. Time, rust, other things.
So Batman was like, "You can join the team, but we need to give your whole chest piece here, like put a spray paint."
I'm sure he would
bring that back to the Alfred. Can do
I've
that.
got black going on. You got to do something.
You got to touch this up, honey.
I'm sure he's given her some fashion.
This Batman has had Robins, so he might know his fashion.
Mabel.
So, with all of the trailers, Keith, that's coming out, and we're actually in the middle of what should be summer movie fun time.
It is summer movie fun time.
It's all right.
If you're not impressed with what's been released thus far, you are not living.
I mean, if you think about it, VisionCon right now has got their Star Trek Day going down at the Branson IMAX.
That's where I was actually headed with this, Brandon. Thank you.
So, a lot of fun going down there. There's a lot of great people. We got David Fott down there. We've got, Arc Vindicta. We've got Alien Graphics. There's so many people down there at our Star Trek Day, so it's a lot of fun.
We have so many great partners, including VisionCon and the Branson IMAX. And San Diego has some of the greatest partners and vendors. And
too many to list.
Too many. I was, like I said, I tried to count them. I really did. I sat here last night while I was getting our space ready for this.
Big thanks to NBC for the app, though.
Yes. But Keith, and I know we've done this once already with Larry running around looking for Haley. Is there a comic like Larry that you'd be searching for there that you feel like you'd only be able to get there at San Diego? And that's that. Actually, I say Keith, and anybody can add to this, because I know there's nerds in this group, at least a few of them, that like comics.
Well, as an official geek, I gotta say, any of the DC comics and some of the Marvels, but basically, I want to talk to the creative team that they put in charge of the new Justice League comic, because the direction that they're going with that story is just, I love it. I'm addicted. Between that and Aquaman, where they're going with their new version of Aquaman, oh gosh. So.
Okay, Jason Momoa, I'm telling you.
He's on it.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
For all the ladies, close your eyes and picture Jason Momoa as Aquaman. You're welcome.
And if you haven't
some of the
seen
guys,
the costume yet, go Google it. Because
there's not much to it.
There's not.
Also,
it's
and
beautiful.
now that we got Josiah here and Alexis and Brandon.
Hi.
So we've already done the Friday gaming. Looking at the schedule for Saturday, they've actually tripled up. So all the stuff that is listed, the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Pokemon, the Cards Against Humanity. There's Pathfinder, AD&D, and there's like about 10 other stuff that I've not named. And I'll start with Brandon. If you could play something at